Hey, what's up guys? My name is Coyle. I used to play guitar in a band called God Forbid. I've also done touring stints with some pretty cool bands like Lamb of God and Unearthed and Trivium. And currently I'm playing in a new rock band called Vagus Nerve. I have an all-star cover band called Rebel Noise Group, and I also play with a new band called Metal. And we're gonna start going through some of my gear and go through some riffs and have some fun. I've been playing ESP guitars more or less since the start of God Forbid, going back to like maybe 1999. But I officially got an endorsement in 2001 once the band got a record deal and started touring. Started off playing the LTD models and kind of just moved up the ranks and started getting the real ESPs. And I've played, Eclipses like this, which is kind of based on the Les Paul, and I've played V's for a while. And then I actually left ESP for a few years and started experimenting around 2010, tried out a bunch of stuff, and now I've come back home, as they say. So they've actually hooked me up with a few new guitars, and I didn't bring all of them, but I have this one right here, which is the new ESP E2 line, Eclipse. And I'd say I've had Eclipses throughout the years, and I'd say about the new models are definitely more like Gibsons. It's a heavier piece of wood. It's a little more dense. It's actually a little bigger. The neck is thicker. And it's really, my playing has adapted over the years where I need instruments to not only be just a strictly heavy metal guitar, I need something that can do rock and metal, because I'm just playing with a lot of different projects. I'm writing stuff that's a lot more diverse. So actually, I got a more Strat guitar, which is called the ST1, I believe, and then also the TE7, which is a 7-string guitar with a telly shape with EMG pickups in it, and that's kind of like my 7-string metal guitar. So I kind of have something for all situations, different guitars for different tunings, and I also still have I still have an ESP Eclipse from 2009 that I used when I was playing with Lamb of God. I still have that guitar, and that has a bare knuckle Aftermath in the bridge. And there's the difference between that and this is pretty dramatic. Like I said, that one is a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner neck. But the E2 line is great. For a lot of people who don't know, essentially ESP has kind of changed their product lines. So the LTDs are still the LTDs. They're kind of the entry-level stuff, but still very high quality. And then what used to be the ESPs have actually become the E2s. So this essentially would be, if you bought an ESP maybe 5 years ago, essentially is this quality. And then now today, the ESPs are essentially hand-built guitars in the $3,000 to $4,000 range. So they've kind of just changed their tier system, and then they have the customs on top of that. So if you get an E2, it's basically the equivalent of buying a normal ESP. So, but this guitar is great. It definitely, if you want to hear it. I like it. As far as amps, I've been using the EVH 5153 since about 2010, and that's made by Fender. I have a history with the 5150 amps. I've essentially played every iteration of the amp, going back to the original 5150 to the 5152, although I never played a 6505, which is essentially 5152. One of the main things I really like about the 5153 in comparison to the PV models is it's a much more versatile amp. Even the high gain sound, it doesn't have quite the, I'd say, kind of high-end breakup that some of those older amps have. So it's a bit cleaner, a bit more organic sounding, and plays more to my taste as far as what I like out of the tone. And one of the brilliant advents of this is the middle channel, or the crunch tone. It's a little bit lower gain, and it really works for more rock oriented stuff, or just sometimes some people actually will boost their the mid channel, maybe throw a distortion on it, and then you just use the high gain channel as like a lead channel or something like that. But it's really for doing the different projects and stuff. It's a much more versatile amplifier, and although it's not available in this version, I mainly use the 100-watt head, which you can't see here. This is the 50-watt, which is awesome because it's light and portable and still sounds great. On the 100-watt version, there's actually a different EQ channel for the clean section, so you get a little bit more customization. But right now, on this version, the clean and the crunch tone share the same EQ. So you don't, maybe you might not get the cleans quite as clean as you would want to. Still sounds fine, but it's not quite as crystalline as you could, kind of, because it has its own gain channel, going on with that. But yeah, I've been using these amps for a few years, and as far as I'm concerned, my philosophy on it has changed. It's your tone it's going to sound like what it's going to sound like. If you find something that's working for you and it's not bad and you're liking it, just go with it. There's no secret weapon out there and no magic. Like, oh, this. I feel like with amplifiers, there's this keeping up with the Joneses kind of attitude, and I've kind of just strayed away from that. And it's like, I'm not out there hunting for amps to figure out. I'm like, my tone sounds good, I like it, and I'm just gonna roll with it. And these amps they're rock solid, they're versatile, and I haven't found anything that really has made me want to move on. Although I do own a Kemper profiling amp, but I have not integrated that into my live setup yet. I mainly use that for home recording. All right, so right now we're gonna go through my pedal board setup, which is pretty, I guess I would say, old school and not very cutting edge. As I've gotten older, I've gotten much more into kind of ambient guitar sounds and really be able to fit with whatever situation I need musically. So I pretty much have one of everything. I don't have every pedal, but every effect, but most of the stuff that you would really need kind of off the cuff. So I guess first thing we can start with is this this delay pedal, which is Line 6 DL4, which I'm sure most of you have seen it. It's almost become kind of an industry standard. The guy from Foo Fighters has 2 of them, so he's. But I probably saw some like space rock band or some cool like post-hardcore band using it, and I was like, that sounds cool. I want one of those, because I was using the Boss, maybe the DD5 or DD6 for years, and I wanted something a little more versatile. This has 3 preset channels on it, or 3 preset sounds you can use, and it also has a tap tempo. So right now, I pretty much one of the main ones I've been using. I don't even know what these ones are. I've had them for so long. If you can kind of hear that, I think this is actually an analog. And I'll kind of use that as almost my kind of main, just being spacey and kind of washy and give myself a little space. And then this one right here, the first one, is kind of like my lead channel because it gives me a little bit of boost. And that one is almost there to kind of mimic what the original Boss pedal was doing as my lead tone. And then I got something on the third channel. I don't even know what that is. I just be, to be honest, there's so much in this thing. I really don't have time to go through all of it. I should probably take some more time, get into like, it has a looping pattern. It does everything, but that's kind of the idea, is if I need a delay situation, this could pretty much handle it. So moving on, we're gonna shut this son of a bitch off. I also have it's actually made by Digitech, this digital stereo reverb. It's a digital reverb here. So let me check this. Get a little more. Got on the hall setting, and then you hear that? And that really comes, I think a lot of times, especially in the metal world, we don't really think about reverb that much. And the thing is, you want a spacious effect. Back in the day, a lot of the amps themselves would come with reverbs, and unfortunately, a lot of the high gain amps don't come with reverb. So I really wanted a space effect that was not delay. By space, I don't mean outer space. I mean just something that creates some space and some depth. And oftentimes I'll use them both together to get even something a little more. I forgot I was dropped tuned. And actually, a lot of times, if you can see over here, I have a Boss chorus ensemble, which I have at a very subtle setting, even though it says that it's at half effects level. It's almost, you can almost barely tell that it's on, just to kind of smooth things out. You know, so I'll even shut all these off. You know, if I'm doing a more of a kind of a rock thing. So you might not even be able to tell that chorus is on, but it just kind of smooths things out and gives it a little bit more, blends with the background a little bit more. And that's kind of depending on what I'm doing. That's really important. Right next to that, I have an Mxr Evh phaser pedal. I love phasers. I use it pretty often. If you kind of, you know, that comes in handy, especially, you know, doing like the cover band and you need different effects, and there's a lot of phase that goes on. And if you'll see, I have it at a very low setting. I don't like this fast phase. I don't like none of this. I got no use for this. This is not, you know, I'm not fighting aliens. All right, I don't got no use for that shit. And then moving on, I've got a Dunlop Jerry Cantrell signature wah. I've tried a bunch of their wahs. I've had the Dime Bag, I've had the Zach Wild, I've had just a regular Crybaby, and I've also had a Vox wah actually as well. One thing I really like about this is it's very subtle in terms of the scope of it. So that's how I don't really do a lot of, I don't really do that. I'm kind of the Micah Mott kind of school of things, of really using it as for a tonal standpoint. So I kind of ride it and wave, you know, kind of wave it like that. I'm not really doing a lot of chicka bang bang on it, you know. And this, as far as just being subtle and creamy and not having, because I don't like wahs where it gets too much treble on the down end and where I'm just going from various extremes, you know. But I love this wah. I'm a huge Jerry Cantrell fan, so that always helps. You know, you steal some of his talent, which I try and do, and that's beautiful. Moving on, we have the Whammy Dt Pedal, which, as far as I know, is the latest version of the Whammy pedal. I've not had every version. The first one I got was actually a Whammy 2, and really the biggest difference why it's called the DT is it's for down tune, meaning you can this actually has pitch shifting capabilities, and you can change your tuning on the fly, and it's pretty amazing. I use this a lot because I don't feel like changing 50 guitars, you know, and bringing, you know, a suitcase full of instruments to a gig. So oftentimes I've done tours and brought one guitar, maybe had a backup just cause, but I generally don't need it. So I'll be here doing this. I'm in drop C, you know, maybe I feel like going to drop B, you know, playing some Slipknot. You know, and it sounds a little weird in the room because you got your guitar in one tuning and then that's going another tuning. Might think you're going crazy, but it's just the DT. And I've recorded with it. It's pretty amazing. And then obviously it has all the standard Whammy stuff, which I use a lot of times. Just use it. You know, sometimes I'll even get crazy with that. I like putting all the effects on sometimes. You know, boom, reverb. Bam, chorus, boom, and all of a sudden you're just like, you're getting spacey. Sounds crazy. Anyway, if you don't know what a Whammy pedal is at this point, I don't know what to tell you, brother. I don't know why you're at this website. But anyway, so the last thing, you know, I got this stuff, you know, we have another hardwire tuner, polyphonic tuner. It's supposed to do some crazy stuff supposedly you can like press, you know, hit all the strings and you can tune them all at the same time. That shit don't make no sense. I don't know what they're talking about that. No one tunes their guitar like that. So just one string at a time still. But it's a good tuner. And I've had this Boss noise suppressor since like 1942. You know, these motherfuckers don't die. It's amazing. Anyway, moving on. Last thing, another Mxr Evh Flanger, which I rarely use because it's actually 18 volts and it takes two 9 volts and requires a special power supply. So I actually have, and as you can see, I have no room left on my board. So right now, but I have used it a lot in recording, which is one of the reasons why it's here for now. So I'm not going to play any Van Halen riffs because fuck you. So that's what it is. And as you can see, that's a lot more. It is not subtle like the chorus pedal. That is very obvious when you're using that effect. And it's really cool for that. So anyway, that's pretty much all my pedals. You know, got that Voodoo Labs pedal power. Almost everyone has one of those. Got this Furman, what do you think it's called? Pedal boards. That's right. Furman pedal board, which makes things easy because I used to have like this jacked up, you know, fake pedal boards I made by myself. This makes things a lot easier. It's mobile, all the power's in there, you know, and it's pretty heavy duty. I've had that for a long time and haven't had any troubles with it. So yeah, it's pretty much all my pedals. I'm pretty old school, you know, maybe I'll upgrade, you know, to all you nerds, you know, and get you know, a MacBook Pro as like my pedal board or something. But you know, get a PlayStation, have that be my have my effects, man. I've run my effects through the PlayStation, you know. But in the meantime, I kick it old school because I like to be able to use effects on the fly. To me, it's there's a creativity in that, and in you know, sometimes an effect on the fly that's not something that's just, all right, here's my rhythm tone, here's my lead tone. It's like, no, I can kind of do whatever I want in the moment. I get an idea, and sometimes you stumble into happy accidents, as it were. And it's also great, you know, being in studio sessions, just kind of spitballing. I was like, oh, we can take this, and it's very much like audio chemistry, you know, kind of throwing different effects together. And I like messing around with them. Hopefully I'll get some more because I always see ones here and there that are awesome that I do not own. So as far as some of the kind of accessories and stuff I use Planet Waves cables, and these are actually the new ones, and they're super heavy duty and super sleek, and they are awesome to me. And I have that all through here, and I actually have some of these you'll see are actually from their custom set, where they actually come in a big loom and you can cut and make your own for your own pedal board and stuff. Those are amazing, especially on tour when you're kind of changing things on the fly. It's like, all right, we got to switch out this pedal, or we got something in your pedal board, and you can make, you know, you can customize the sizes. That's really great. I use the Dario strings, which I've always wanted to use since I was a kid because Dave Mustaine used them, and they're one thing I noticed from right away is they stretch really quick when you put them on, which is fucking amazing. And they're actually kind of smoother. You can bend a little bit easier, and it's the same width, you know, of string, and it seems to hold together really well. And then I also use Dunlop Picks, and they just made these custom Vagus Nerve picks for me. And if you can see that. And these are the .88 Tortex, which I have essentially been using since forever. I actually was using 1mm, but went down to .88 because it just gave me a little more, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I got another pick here. And actually, I got a few of these, the Sharps as well, because my buddy John Denias from Shadows Fall and Anthrax, I borrowed some of his picks. I was like, these are pretty cool for like definitely more metal stuff and stuff where you need some crazy picking and some accuracy. So that's I kind of got these as an experiment, but they're both .88, and they're great. Thank you, Dunlop. I love you. We're gonna play it one time at regular speed.